Hello, I'm Kimberly Henry, and this is Living the Good Life. In this series, we'll feature conversations around ways to embrace the goodness of life and take a big, juicy bite out of it. Food for the soul and the funny bone. Learn to give more time to yourself, become a better friend, lead an amazing life, and how to tell the best joke at the party. Living the good life can mean different things to different people. Whatever it is for you, I hope you'll find some inspiration here to live your most joyful, authentic life. Now, on to today's conversation. I am so excited for our show today. Our guests today are Web Heyliger and Temo. Temo, I don't even know your last name. What is it?
It's Fregoso.
Temo Fregoso. And they are working together on a new show that is about life. Web's life. I imagine that we'll get a little bit of Temo in there as well. Temo, you've got a great background with a YouTube channel. You're kind of the technical piece of this. Web, you're kind of the on-camera piece of this. Is that right?
Correct. We were, so we're calling it the Web Show. And the first trailer for the show on YouTube will be out on September 18th at 8 a.m. Colorado time. And yes, so Temo has agreed and very, very generously helped me tell my story on YouTube. So he is all the graphics, all the pictures, the music, the lighting, the directing, the microphone, everything behind the camera. Temo he is the show. And so I am the on-camera more talent, and I tell my story.
Fantastic. You guys make a great team. And Temo, I know that you've done some on-camera stuff too. So you guys have both got some talent. But this show, the Web Show, is about your life, your story, Web. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to tell your story this way?
Just because I think personality-wise, I've been an actor, singer, dancer since I was 4. And I love being in front of an audience. And I actually wrote a book about the first 25 years of my life, like a memoir format, and trying to get it published or looked into seeing how to get it published. And really memoirs are for people with quite a big following or, celebrities. So it would be quite a difficult task. And so Temo and I came up with the idea of telling my story to camera on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. And Temo just said, you probably could get your point across and your story across better on camera. Big personality, very dynamic. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm a better speaker than I am a writer. My sister will tell you.
I agree. Well, I don't know about your writing. Your mom's an author. We've had your mom on our show. So that's pretty cool. And we know a little bit about your story from that show, but kind of refresh us on what it is a 25-year-old has to write about in a memoir.
Right. I know. I know I'm probably way too young to be writing a memoir, but the idea was that I'd write 4 of them. So every 25 years, there would be a new one. And so this was just the first one. And it's about being gay. And I was born with 1 lung and scoliosis. And it's about going to Hollywood and being a background actor, and about my first kiss and how I came out to my parents, which was a really interesting story. I guess it's just about life. And it's just about, what I'm still learning. And around Colorado and small town Colorado, a lot of the gay men here that I've met are older. They're 40s, 50s, 60s. And still to this day, I'm from a different generation, but so many of their parents and other family members are not accepting of them. And you can still see it in their self-esteem today. They're still not comfortable with really showing who they are. My parents have always accepted and loved who I am. And they didn't care that I played with Barbies or that I wore high heels as a kid. They supported it. And so even from gay men around here, the LGBTQ community, I had been told I'm too gay, or that, even from them, or that, I'm not the right kind of gay. So it's been fascinating. So I'm just reiterating, I guess, to the world that, be yourself, because it's the most important thing in the world. It'll make your life so much easier. And I don't know. It's just about being yourself. The book is called for instance, if the book were to be published, it was be called Fabulous at 45 Degrees. And it's just about, yeah, of course, all the glitter and all the fashion and all the everything that I love. And the 45 degrees, of course, refers to the curve in my spine from being born with scoliosis.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. 45 degrees. That's pretty significant. Scoliosis
Yeah,
there.
it is. I wore a scoliosis brace
Ah,
in high school, so we do mention that in the show, and of course it's mentioned in the book. And I still went to high school with that, even though my parents were a little nervous about being bullied. And it wasn't really, I wouldn't say I was bullied for the short time I went to Douglas County High School. I only went for about 6 months. But kids kind of put pity on me. They felt sorry for me. Oh, let me hold your books.
sure.
Let me do this for you. Let me do that for you. And I could do everything for myself. It wasn't that bad.
Mm.
So there was that. And then, but I was primarily homeschooled because I was born with one lung and I got sick really easily as a young child. And I ended up in the hospital with pneumonia 4 times. And so my mom did decide to homeschool. So I would stay home and stay away from all the germs and everything. And it kind of worked. And then we just ended up liking homeschooling and for most of my education.
Nice. Temo, what about Web Story are you picking up? Because I know you guys are shooting episodes already. So what about Web Story is most poignant for you?
There's a lot of them. We filmed like 20 of them already, and we have more to go. So we have content for each week, so we don't have to stop. I think the first episode, the scoliosis one, that one is really good. I like his story. He's really awesome.
Do you spend a lot of time laughing? Crying?
Oh, we're laughing
Yawning?
all the time.
I would say laughing.
Yeah.
Laugh.
Laughing?
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. What is the best thing? Let me ask, Temo, let me ask you first. What is the best thing you've done in the last 24 hours?
Oh, nothing.
Well, that can sometimes be a good thing,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I worked 11 hours yesterday, and I just went home and just slept because I was tired. Yeah.
That's sometimes the best thing you can
Yeah.
do is just
Yeah,
recharge.
right.
Yeah. Way to take care of yourself. How about you, Webb? What's the best thing you've done in the last 24 hours?
Last night, my parents and I watched the film Judy, starring Renee Zellweger, and it was just a really interesting movie. She had Judy Garland had a really sad life, but it was fascinating to see kind of the more reality of what her life was really like. And Renee Zellweger did an amazing job. I'm not surprised she won the Oscar. It was a good movie.
I have not yet seen that. Great review. I'm gonna have to check it
Yeah,
out.
fabulous. People should see the story. Yeah.
Very good. We like to celebrate here all the good things. What is it you're doing to live your best, joyful, authentic life? And I think that you've been a great example, even just in the last few minutes of speaking, of even though it can be hard sometimes, being authentic is ultimately more joyful and more fulfilling than trying to carry this persona that's not you. How much of that have you experienced, and how much of that will you share with us in your show? Almost
everything.
He does.
I mean, Temo and I go there. We some of it could be, for instance, we are filming today a video just about some of my favorite things. So it can be like, what's your favorite color? Yellow, it can be that simple. And then we go, to the very first time I felt beautiful. For instance, you hear, that you look good from your mom or your grandma. But the very first time I felt beautiful was actually with a guy in Aspen who gave me my first kiss, and he didn't mention that I was too gay, and he didn't mention that there were scars on my body or that I was crooked, because if you do look at me, especially if I have a shirt off, you can see the curve in my spine. I never stand fully straight. So we kind of dive into that, and that's probably one of our longer videos of the guy who I guess had the first couple dates with. It's a long one. And I was like, is this too long? Are we going too deep? And Temo said, no, keep going. Keep going. So it's, people will learn literally almost everything about me. And I'm not afraid to do it because I've already done it with everybody, with my coworkers, with my family members, grandma, aunts, cousins. And people say I overshare. I overshare way too much. And so I was like, okay, well, let's overshare to the world.
So how does that feel? Because I think that's a big fear that people deal with, whether they're gay, straight, black, white, affluent, poor. Everyone carries some sort of a fear of what are they going to think about me if I let them see the real me?
Yes. It's a great question. Temo and I have looked at each other and sometimes have stopped filming and then maybe redid a video because we were wondering, can we post this? Is it okay to post this? Is it okay to say that? We have gone there. And so, yeah, we have certainly edited things. And thank God I have an editor. I'm so glad these are not live. It would not be good. He is great at making me look professional on camera. Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. There are times when we have stopped, but then we end up doing it. And I think we've almost gone with everything we have produced. Certain things, the only things I think we were kind of tentative is how to generalize people, saying folks, saying things like that, just trying to be politically correct because I say you guys a lot, I don't say ladies. And, I talk about gay people, but now there are people who are non-binary, who identify as that, as not either gender. So it's little things like that we've had a hard time with, is how to include everyone and include everyone's, pronouns. That's the most difficult thing. But when it comes to my personal life, it feels great. And the thing is that most people around me and most people that have subscribed to our channel so far already know these stories. So I don't know. I don't know if, I think it's more scary to tell probably the close people than people you don't know from the internet. I'm not worried about that.
Well, maybe you don't know differently. I don't know. Maybe you do. You're 25. So I don't know how to equate life experiences. But for those of us who have grown up in this generation where perception is everything. Right. So you create what you want other people to see and don't necessarily let everybody in to everything. You've lived a life in this generation where it's a lot more acceptable, even though it's not 100% acceptable to be gay. Now, some of these other genders, as you mentioned, are coming out, and that's maybe more a little uncomfortable, the gender identities and things like that I don't even know how to describe because I haven't experienced that. That hasn't been an acceptable or open piece of our society until fairly recently. So being out there, being your authentic self, and we're going to talk about those Barbie dolls here coming up pretty soon. How do people respond to you, and do you care?
The only time.
Do you care?
For instance, in school, I can't imagine what the kids were saying behind my back, but I was never actually bullied to my face. The only time I have actually been bullied or kind of said, you're wrong, is actually I did get a real estate license a couple years ago, and the office I worked at, some of the realtors continued to remind me or tell me that I was too gay to sell real estate. And so that kind of got me, because that was saying that you won't be successful for who you are. And, they kept reminding me, saying, don't let people see that you're gay. And I'm like, well, they'd have to be blind or deaf or dead, because everyone can see that. That's not, I wear my sexuality on my sleeve. Everyone can see it. So it was just like, wait a minute. So I really just can't be here. You don't want to even be myself, because people will be able to tell. I don't need to tell them I'm gay. So that hurt, because it was like, well, I guess then I'm just going to fail, because everyone's going to know. So that hurt.
So it did make you change your trajectory in your career.
Yeah. So I left it, and then I realized I did like performing. And actually, we have to remember, I did come to KMTS and had a intern there with Dave Chenoweth. And you were so sweet to say that, I should have a show and, talk on microphone about, country stars, because it's a country radio station. I don't know, maybe I like acting, singing, and dancing better. And, so then we went back to that, and I moved to California. But thank you for that opportunity, though. It was very kind of you. And so, so then we went to Hollywood and then came back. And then, I don't know, I think just this format of talking to camera, I think it's a little easier, because a lot of times when you're talking to radio, you're all by yourself. And I was like, there's no audience here. What is I'm uncomfortable with this situation. It's so quiet. And so, but with Temo here, behind the camera, we laugh, and it's a little more like entertaining to an audience. So it's like, no, still someone can see me, and it's just better. It works better. So we've come up with, I guess, a new system.
Yeah.
To how to tell my story. Yeah, and I guess it's also, I don't want to put words in people's mouths too. So it's a little more of a show of talking about myself, and we do have interviews with people. For instance, we interview my sister about dating. My mom comes on and talks about her children's books. My brother comes on and we Zumba dance with him. We have a great guy named Travis who comes on and talks about Black Lives Matter. So it's a little easier to interview people that way. And also, it was hard to tell someone else's story and be dynamic. It was like, because I didn't know how they were feeling. It was more like news, and I couldn't do news. It was like, oh no, this is too professional, because it's not professional. I mean, it's comedic show. It's not serious. It's not very serious.
That's great. That's great, and that's maybe the best format to go as deep as it sounds like you're gonna go, because you can be on that emotional roller coaster. There's some levity that breaks up.
We try.
Maybe some of the depth.
We try. We put hashtags in it, and he has little stats. Yeah. He has little hashtags, and he puts in sounds. So, for instance, the video can be totally different after Temo works on it. And the reason why it's so, I guess, boisterous and kind of all over, one big hot mess is because of Temo.
So, Temo, let's talk about, you've had some experience in YouTube and in the video format. How did that happen for you, and what do you love about it?
Well, I don't know. I just started watching YouTube when I was in high school. I started watching Shane and Grace Telbeck, and they're really cool. I like the videos. I like how they talk, and also I just wanted to show the people what I bring to it, and then it was fun, and
so I was like, wait, did you see Temo's videos? And so then everyone kind of knew about it. And, some of his videos have tens of thousands of views. Like, he has gotten his message to quite a big audience, certainly being from such a small town and everything. And he didn't broadcast this like we're doing. We're telling everybody that this is going to happen.
I didn't do it.
Has 350 plus subscribers, by just doing these videos. And so he knows what he's doing. I was like, to have a producer like this starting out of the gate is really helpful. I'm very lucky, knock on wood. But yeah, his videos are very funny. And he even had an alter ego named Tool.
I did, yeah.
And he has a voice, and he put on these sunglasses, and he went all the way with YouTube.
Yeah, I checked out the channel. It looks totally professional.
Thank you.
And he has a website and everything, and the whole 9 yards. All the social.
Fantastic. So you guys make a great partnership. So, Web, tell me about J-Lo. What's up with J-Lo?
She's everything, Kimberly Henry. I mean, she is just, I tell people God is a woman, and her name is Jennifer Lopez. I mean, she is just, when I really got into her, of course, is when she came back on American Idol in about 2011, 2012, and her career just shot off again, That was fantastic, and I just thought she's just so fabulous. I love how she's an actor, singer, dancer, fashion designer. She does everything, and so I'm not, the best actor, singer, dancer in the world, but I can do all three, and she can do all three. She can do them very well, and she's a great businesswoman, and she's a wonderful role model for the Hispanic and Latino community, and she's ageless. I mean, gay men, we're so shallow, that we're always trying to figure a way of how to look better, how to look good, and I mean, she's 51 now, and she looks she found the fountain of youth. She has a house in Florida. It's somewhere down there. I mean, she looks amazing. I mean, the Super Bowl this year was just a fabulous show. Her era, and I don't know. When she a couple years after on American Idol, she said she had Barbies, and I was like, wait, what? She has Barbies? Because I played with Barbies as a little kid, and I needed them right away, and I got them, and then we started traveling with the Barbies. Like we went with the Barbies to Memphis, Tennessee, and San Francisco, and Los Angeles, and Edinburgh, Scotland, and New York City. And people often ask me, why do you travel with these Barbies? What's the point of this? Why do you do this? You're an adult. And yes, I'm an adult. And yes, I have them and everything. And I don't, have them with me all the time. But for Instagram and Facebook, why we keep bringing them and why we keep taking pictures with them and why they're in my profile pictures is that we're just trying to reiterate once again that a man can play with Barbies. And we post them on social media so that maybe, of course, we have the gay meccas of the world like Los Angeles or San Francisco or New York City or Miami or Sydney, Australia or Berlin, Germany. But we're hoping that men and women, people of the LGBTQ community, see it in a country maybe like Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Yemen, places where you can still go to prison for being gay. We're trying to say that it's okay that a boy can play with Barbies. That's why we keep doing it over and over and over again, is to advertise it, is to get it out there. The more we see it, the more people will be comfortable.
I'm a little bit disappointed that J-Lo is not with us here today.
I know. Oh my gosh. If she saw one of my videos or we canceled Zoom meetings or we did a Zoom meeting, I would cry. I'd be one of those people, like little girls meeting Justin Bieber. I'm crying. I would faint.
No. All right. What's the funnest or the funniest blooper or thing that you're going to keep in the show so far? Give us a little Easter egg that we can look for.
I think the funniest one or the most would probably be like dating tips.
Yeah.
Things that I've done on dates where it was just really, really bad. Like,
Give me one. Give me one.
Some of my dating mistakes. Let's see. The biggest one would probably be, okay, I made this mistake a couple times, is talking about other men while you're on a date with another guy. So, for instance, your past experiences previous before you're on a date with them. So I think that would take, oh boy.
That's not exclusive to men, I will tell you that. There was a screenshot you posted recently where you were crying. What was that about?
Correct. That would be my first experience with the guy I ever had. It was just emotional because he treated me with so much love and respect. I was in that picture, the screenshot where I'm crying. Yes, it was just emotional. And when I was writing my story in this chapter, which actually is, I call it my Carrie Bradshaw moment in the chapter in the book, because this guy was very much like Mr. Big on Sex and the City, and very businessman-like. And so he just totally saved my life in a way that no other person has, because, he went to Stanford. He was really smart, and he never looked down on me or never kind of, made me feel self-conscious about my body or who I am. And so it was just one of those fist-pumping experiences where it was like, boy, did I win in the end.
Wow.
That was, so it was crying because it was, still that day or that man is probably giving me the best moment of my life.
Wow.
By far. And you'll hear the whole thing. We don't name him by name, but we just call him Mr. Big. And that's the thing about the show. Sometimes it can be PBS, kind of like my mom's children's books, and we can talk very much like that, very G-rated, and then sometimes it's a little more HBO, Sex and the City. So it just depends on the video. So we tell parents, we want everyone and anyone to watch every single video, but parents just watch it before to show your kids, because some of it can be a little more adult content.
When I'm listening to you, I don't hear a gay man's experience. I hear a human experience. All of these things that you're talking about can be, they're not gender related. They're not sexual identity related. They're human issues. People want to be loved. They want to know they're cared for, valued, and nobody likes to have their flaws pointed out. I mean, that's a human experience. I think that so many people can relate with what you're sharing.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, thank you. Well, and a lot of times, Temo and I had the idea of when after every time we finish a video, for instance, when I come out of the closet to my parents, I ask the general public. How was your coming out experience, And then we do one where I say where I knew I was gay. So we ask everyone, when did you know you were transgender or non-binary or gay, straight, bisexual? So we always try to ask that open-ended question to people to get involved in the show, to share their experience and to comment. I said, who gave you your first kiss? We're going to have one where we do a Valentine's Day episode of who was your first Valentine, all that kind of stuff. We try to get people involved in the show as much.
What's the point? Why write the memoir? What do you want to deliver with all of this content? What's the message?
Our point would just be, I guess, just to share more. I think, a lot of people believe that, maybe you shouldn't talk about, your coming out story, or maybe you shouldn't talk about the first time you had sex, or maybe you shouldn't talk about the weird things on your bodies, such as psoriasis or, your flaws. But I think if we need to talk about it more, and especially the positives about these experiences, because if we don't, no one will ever know what's a good experience. So, I think oversharing is really, really important. And one of the people we've talked to, who's actually is one of our idols, is Kathy Griffin. And what happened to her with the whole Donald Trump photo and everything, I know there have been many instances where people were trying to burn Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama on a t-shirt or something. And so, and she totally lost everything from oversharing or doing a photo or doing that. And I think it's so unfair. It's so unfair how she was treated. I think she has always been known for oversharing her life and everything. And sexism has really ruined her. And we need to talk about it and, get it out there, because it needs to stop. Just for instance, we have a video where I have a Harvey Weinstein audition in Los Angeles. I had one and it was not good. And it was at Stella Adler Acting Academy on Hollywood Boulevard, right next to the Dolby Theater where the Oscars are. And it was not good. I stopped it. But it was, I had a Harvey Weinstein audition and I failed the audition and they asked me to come back. And it was totally fake. It was not real. And actually a couple months after I had this Harvey Weinstein audition, the situation, all the stuff came out about Harvey Weinstein. So it's very real. The casting couch is a very real thing. It happens all the time. And, we talk about what to watch out for and what not
so
to do.
You're really advocating for folks, shedding the light on the things that are happening in the darkness.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Cancel culture. And also, casting couch situations and even Hollywood. We have a friend, and we talk about her book. It's called The Wrong Kind of Woman. And it's about sexism in Hollywood and how, still today, is Hollywood racist? Absolutely. Halle Berry is still the only woman of color in the 2 or 3 years of the Oscars to win the Oscar for Best Actress. Catherine Bigelow is the only female director to win the Oscar for Best Directing out of 92 years of the Oscars. They're not even giving minorities, LGBTQ people, people of color, or women the same opportunity as men, straight white men, the white dinosaurs they're called, such as Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese. It's very real and it happens all the time. And now every year, these women are getting up there at award shows and calling it out. It is way overdue. And you think Hollywood's like, Tinseltown, everything's amazing. Oh boy, you go there. It's not. Because again, it's a business and they're trying to relate to everybody, even a conservative family in Arkansas. And it just, they're not telling everyone's story authentically. And the problem is that it needs to be told by people who are actually LGBTQ or Black or Hispanic or Asian or a woman, all those kinds of things, because that's a real authentic story. A straight white man can't tell that story. They can't.
Fair point. Fair point. So it sounds like you are kind of cutting out your little corner of the world and trying to share what you can to open that wide up.
Yes,
good.
Correct.
What does the next 25 years look like as far as living your best life?
Temo, do you want to go
No,
first?
I have no idea. I'm still in school. I'm getting my master's of leadership and management. And I think I just want to continue school and get my MFA in something like in creative writing, and probably have my own photography studio or media studio here in Glenmore or somewhere
So you
else.
do have a vision. That's
for
fantastic.
25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, he definitely has a vision. He's very, Temo and I were movie buddies. So we always try to go see all the films that are nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. We try to go see them all before the award show. And we love the red carpet, and we love, everything about celebrities. Like, he knows just as much as I do. We, read People magazine, and he's on Twitter all the time. Every pop culture, I guess, subject that's out in the news, we both know about it. We don't even have to tell each other. So we're very big on that, and he loves it just as I think just as much as I do. And so we're pop culture fanatics, and so we have a lot in common. But the next 25 years, I guess, to get my message out there, but also I've never actually had a boyfriend, so to fall in love one day, and of course to hopefully, knock on wood, buy a home. It's getting to the point where it's unrealistic for millennials. It's really hard. And then, of course, to travel a little bit more as well. I had the amazing opportunity to go with the Cleft Lip and Palate Organization Smile Train to India. And I got to go to the hospitals and see what they do and how they give these surgeries to these young kids. And it was, wow, it was the best experience of my life. It was really cool, very humbling, and I'm very grateful for the life that I have. They invited us to go to Africa to see the kids in Kenya, and the coronavirus kind of messed that up. And so they're planning on going next year, but definitely in the next 25 years to go with that charity around the world again to visit these children, because it's amazing. And I have the relation is that I have, or connection with them is that, they were born that way. They were born maybe looking a little different, having, a little scar on their lip, or being, their teeth not right, or, being bullied for literally just how they were born, their physical appearance, being born with scoliosis. So that's my favorite charity. That's the one that really gets me, pulls on the heartstrings, because I know how I feel.
Say the name of the charity?
Smile Train, Cleft Lip and Palate charity
wonderful.
for kids. And they can do it with adults as well, but what they're doing for kids is that it's 1 in 700 children is born with it. And it usually happens during 3 to 4 months of a woman's pregnancy. They don't know why it happens. They believe it has to do with malnutrition. But one of the girls on our trip that we went with was born, in Georgia with one. And of course, right away she went to Children's Hospital and it was fixed in a second. But the charity is to help the kids. Of course, it's $250 for a child to get a cleft lip and palate surgery, but they don't just stop there. They work with the kids for physical therapy for maybe even 7, 8, 9, 10 years until they're speaking and their face looks exactly like a child who wasn't born with one. And so that goes to it too. You're not just giving to the charity for the surgery, but you're giving the charity for physical therapy afterwards as well. So it was, I definitely want
We'll
to
include a link to that in our show notes so that folks can look that up and learn more about it for sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll put hopefully, if it's okay with you, Temo, we'll put a link to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's okay with me.
Yeah, get him out
and of
there.
course, we're going to put a link to the web show so that folks can come and check you out as well.
Thank you so much.
What is one simple pleasure that doesn't cost anything that you enjoy? Reading?
Yeah. Eating. Well, I guess that does cost money once you buy the book, but
the library.
Yeah, the library, right. But the library, definitely reading celebrity memoirs, or and every time I'm in the checkout aisle at the store reading People magazine, flipping through it really
Nice. How about you, Temo? What's one simple pleasure that's free?
The outdoors, like just walking around. Yeah. Hiking. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you guys get some reading and hiking in the next few days. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you so much for having us. It was a true honor. Thank you for letting us do this.
Best wishes on your show, your journey, your message. I know that you will help a lot of people.
Oh, thank you.
Be sure to check the show notes for links mentioned in this episode and join us in the Living the Good Life Facebook community for previews of each episode, the opportunity to pose questions directly to our guests, bonus content, and a community of people committed to living their best life and sharing the journey. Thanks for listening. Let us know what value you received from this episode and what you'd like us to explore in the future in the comments. And please take a moment to drop us a like or some stars. I'm Kimberly Henry. Let's get out there and live the good life.